Hello and welcome back. In this episode, we'll take a journey through the evolution of cloud computing. From the early days of mainframes to the highly distributed and scalable cloud services we rely on today, actually. We'll also explore the role of virtualization in cloud computing and why it's an integral to actually modern cloud platforms. Remember, virtualization is the most important core concept of cloud computing. Without that, cloud computing will lose a lot of functionality. So let's talk about the mainframe, from mainframes to the cloud, right? So let's start the journey from mainframes. Now, 1960s to 1980s was a time for big, bulky computers, which actually used to take up the whole room, sometimes multiple rooms. So if we start from that point, in the 1960s throughout 1980s, mainframes were the backbone of the actual computing. These were large centralized systems primarily used by big businesses and especially the government agencies to process massive amount of data. While these systems were powerful, they had several drawbacks. They were expensive, required dedicated infrastructure, and were very difficult to scale. Companies had to invest heavily in hardware and especially the IT staff, employees, just to maintain them, limiting the access to only for the large organization or military who can actually afford it. Then we moved to client-server models. Now, moving somewhere about 1990s, we saw a shift with the client-server model. This model decentralized computing, allowing applications to run on servers, while clients, the end user, like customers, right, accessed these applications through a network. While this was a step forward in terms of flexibility, business still faced hardware dependencies, as they had to maintain their own servers and infrastructure, whether it is power supply, cooling, or just the land area, and also the physical security of their infrastructure. But the model allowed for more customization. But businesses still had to invest heavily on physical hardware, which in turn limited overall flexibility, scalability. But it was still better than a mainframe. And then we moved to cloud computing. 2000s, it started from that time, and it still is. We are still using cloud computing a lot. So finally, at around like 2000 or maybe early 2000s, cloud computing, or this concept, emerged as a game changer. This cloud computing allowed businesses to access distributed, scalable services over the internet. This was a massive departure from the traditional on-site infrastructure. Now, businesses could access cloud computing resources like storage, application, and just the compute power, the processing power itself, without the need for physical hardware or complex infrastructure. Cloud service offered unparalleled flexibility, scalability, and most important, cost effectiveness. Instead of buying and maintaining expensive equipments, businesses could just rent these resources as they needed, right? On demand. And they don't have to worry about hardware or maintaining hardware in the future. So, some key benefits of cloud computing. Remember, there are so many small benefits. Let's focus on some. So, why cloud computing has become such an integral part of modern business operations? Well, let's discuss why. Reduced hardware dependencies. With cloud computing, businesses no longer need to invest heavily in physical hardware. Instead, they can just rent out the hardware, even the software, as they need. Now, this renting can be from, let's say, IBM Cloud Platform, Google, AWS, right? Or Microsoft Azure. The next one is on-demand scalability. One of the greatest advantages of cloud is its ability to scale up or scale down quickly. Also, scale out and scale in as well. Cloud services are designed to meet fluctuating demands, spikes in demand, which is especially valuable for businesses that experience growth or spikes in some particular season or at some particular time, such as, let's say, demand goes up during Christmas. So all the e-commerce platforms, they especially need more compute power during Christmas. The next one is cost effectiveness, pay as you use model, right? So cloud computing operates on this consumption-based model, meaning businesses only pay for the resources they consume. This eliminates the need for large upfront investments and allows companies to manage their IT costs more effectively. This is where CapEx and OpEx concept actually comes in. You don't have to invest heavily in the capital. And if the business grows, then yes, you can use more resources and pay more, but there is no risk of buying multi-million-dollar of infrastructure and then realizing, I don't need it. Business is not doing well. So that risk is removed from that. The next one is global accessibility and collaboration. Well, cloud computing offers the ability to access data, application, and services from wherever you want in the world. With an internet connection, teams from different departments can collaborate seamlessly, regardless of their physical location. It doesn't matter. This has become especially important in an increasingly remote and globalized workforce. Now let's discuss the role of virtualization in cloud computing. Well, now let's shift our focus on just one principle, that is virtualization. It is actually a key technology that powers cloud computing. Virtualization allows multiple virtual instances, such as virtual machine, virtual storage, or virtual network, to run on a physical server. This significantly optimizes the use of resources and supports cloud flexibility. Now, some key benefits of virtualization. Well, the first one is resource optimization. You squeeze out as much resource as possible to actually be more productive instead of wasting the resources. Well, by running multiple virtual machine or storage systems on a single physical server, you kind of do that. So virtualization makes the most of the available resources, improving efficiency and reducing the need for additional hardware resources. Isolation and flexibility. Well, virtualization provides isolation between different virtual machines, meaning one virtual machine can fail without affecting others. They all live in isolated bubbles. It allows businesses to run different operating systems or softwares on the same physical hardware, increasing the flexibility. It makes sense, especially if you or the organizations are using containers. Containers actually take advantage of this concept. Scalability. Virtualization supports the scalability of cloud services. As demand increases, cloud simply provides scaling functionality. It quickly creates new virtual instances without the need for a new physical hardware. This elasticity is a major component of cloud ability to scale on demand and do it quickly. The next is cost effectiveness or cost efficiency. Virtualization also helps in reducing cost by improving the utilization of the hardware itself. When you squeeze out all the resource, the overall price will actually go down, right? Because you are using it more effectively. So instead of having to buy new servers for every application or workload, businesses can optimize their existing infrastructure and take advantage of it first. Now, how virtualization supports cloud? Well, elasticity and resource provisioning. Remember, a lot of concepts will come again and again because overall they are using some major principles. So, what is elasticity and resource provisioning? Well, cloud provides or cloud providers like Azure, AWS, Google, they use virtualization to quickly provision or deprovision resources based on demand. This elasticity ensures that resources are always available when needed and can be scaled down when not in use, making the cloud a highly efficient environment. Remember, a virtual instance, especially containers, these are very small entities. These containers can be deployed very quickly. And they also have this healing effect. Healing effect simply means if one container is corrupted or it goes down, well, the orchestrator can actually deploy another container in a different server very quickly. It overall reduces your downtime, right? And make the business more fault tolerant. Well, the next one is multi-tenancy for shared resources. This is the prime example of cloud computing. Well, Microsoft Azure makes sure that the whole world can use it. It's not just for one person. So what is multi-tenancy for shared resources? Well, over here, virtualization enables multi-tenancy, which allows multiple clients to share the same physical resource securely and effectively. Each client or organization operates in a virtualized, isolated environment, or you can say a bubble, ensuring that their data and application remain secure, even though they all are sharing the same physical infrastructure. So it's like having multiple virtual bubbles on just one physical machine. That is the magic of virtualization. In summary, cloud computing has evolved from the days of costly, hardware-dependent mainframes to today's highly scalable, cost-effective cloud platforms, decentralized one. The cloud has become the essential tool for businesses seeking flexibility, efficiency, effectiveness, and rapid innovation. Virtualization plays a pivotal role in supporting cloud computing by optimizing resource utilization or usage, providing scalability, and reducing cost in the long run specifically, right? Together, these technologies are transforming the way businesses operate and interact with technologies, or in some time, other businesses themselves, right? So, thank you for joining us today. In the next episode, we'll take a closer look at cloud service providers and give a deeper understanding than how organizations can choose the right solution as per their need. Stay tuned.